Hi.
Hi.
So you did a lesson about scooter hockey with first grade for your observation. Um, you mentioned in your pre-brief that you wanted to explore the fundamentals of the game, movement and skills with equipment, and teamwork and participation. How do you feel that that went? Was that explored?
I think it went really well. Like I said, this was our second time doing this, so the kids already had like a pretty good idea of like all the
right.
skills and stuff. But this being their second time, we really got to master these skills. So they took what they learned in the first class, and I saw a lot of progress that was done. I saw a lot of kids still with questions. You know, they kind of knew what to do, but they didn't know specifically like how to do some of these movements. And I was able to help them like during class. So by the end of the hour, they did really well.
Good.
So
That's good that you're able to, even though it's not as you plan, like you're able to fill that need and like, keep going, like keep yourself on track. So that's definitely like a key thing that people look for with teachers. When you envisioned the lesson, actually, you know what? How do you feel it went with the pedagogy? We'll just go straight to that. So you said that you wanted to do direct teaching with door rules and safety, instructional teaching through warm up and the equipment and just learning how to play, are basically, I guess, going over the rules again.
Yes.
And then you did some modeling and activating prior knowledge, and using other students as examples. Do you feel like you did that? Did you get to use another student to do that? Okay. And then also the strategy. So I guess if you want to look at that, just like go down that list, because that's like a lot going on right there.
Okay, so with the direct teaching, it was a little harder than I thought. It took the kids a lot longer to like get quiet and to get to that point of for me to directly teach them. Tried a couple different like attention grabbers, but the one at the end that I kind of noticed was kind of like, instead of like counting down or doing like a freeze, it was more of like, you're wasting your time, not mine. They come there wanting to play.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. So giving that reminder, like, we can't move on. We can't get to the game without going through these rules again.
Yeah.
So after that all happened, that it went a lot better. The instructional, once I got them during the warm-up and the equipment, they did really well.
Okay.
It didn't take much time at all.
And how did that modeling go with the
Modeling was perfect.
Okay.
That's another thing that also gets them really quiet. So like once they all want to be the helper.
Oh, I was sure.
So,
yeah, they all want to be the one that...
And I always pick the kids that are sitting there, like, like listening, but I also pick the ones that are able, that I know can really show them, because a lot of kids, like, they want to go up there and help, but by the time I ask them to come up there, they either forgot or they get like a little like shy and they're like, oh, I forgot what I'm doing.
Oh.
So I always have to like pick kids that I know also really know the skill really well. So I picked, can't remember who it was.
It can always be good to pick those kids that you feel like might forget, as long as you can always have like a buddy to help them.
Yes,
like maybe two kids.
Right.
And then you said that you did this strategy and obstacles. Oh, you just talked about like sportsmanship and which I feel like you kind of touched on those things in there. So we can go ahead and go to the envision section.
Okay.
In the beginning of the lesson, you envisioned that you would start as a whole class doing the warm-up and the lesson, and that would be about 5 to 10 minutes. Do you feel like that kind of went with your plan?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Probably closer to 10 minutes. But
things happen.
When I see them really enjoy the warm-up, especially with the younger kids, like I had first grade, I don't really worry too much about jumping too quickly into our like lesson, because like I said, it was their second day. They've already done it. So if they're doing well during their warm-up, they get more activity probably during the warm-up anyway than during the actual activity. Okay. So I didn't rush it too much. So I kind of just let them, until I noticed that they're kind of getting bored with the game, getting off track. That's when I stopped it. So.
Okay. In the middle, you said that you were going to do your rules of modeling. You were going to pick teams and positions and letting them know that they would rotate the positions. That way they wouldn't be upset about the positions they got.
Yep.
And then had a teamwork talk, and then go into the 30-minute. So the game would take 30 minutes?
Yes.
I guess they were counting that as the middle.
Yes.
And it says, and you're switching positions every 2 minutes. So how did that part go?
It went really well until like our third game, and they kind of got caught up in like the games that they just played in. So instead of like getting quiet, going against the wall so we can repick who they're playing.
There's
Kept the
heads
same
up.
teams, but we switched who they played and then their positions.
Oh, okay.
So in some of the games, they were pretty amped up still about the last game. So I had to remind them again that, like, you know, you're wasting your time. I know you guys are here to play. Like, time to settle down. We can't play until you guys are quiet and ready to move on. So that took longer than I expected. So I'm gonna
Gotta plan those transitions.
Yes, so that's where I'm gonna come away with.
Transitions
Yes.
are very hard too, but once you get them, it
Right.
optimizes it,
Right.
makes your time more efficient. At the end, you said you wanted to come back together as a whole class and do a cool down of their choice. Also with the option with yoga and meditation that would take about 5 to 10 minutes, and then some discussion.
Right. We got to the cool down, but we weren't able to do the yoga and stuff.
Okay.
Because they did waste a lot of their time with the
And
scooter
those
hockey.
transition times,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
So I did stop them with enough time to talk about the whole unit, what their favorite parts were, what they could do to make it better. Talked about their teamwork and the skills that they did. Kind of just summed up the whole unit.
How do you think you could have maybe made that plan a little bit better? What do you think you do differently?
Help with the transitions.
What do you think you could do next time with the transition?
I mean, I think I tried too many different things, and then I noticed what worked at the very end, which was strictly, I mean, not asking them to be quiet, don't say freeze, don't do a countdown, just simply, like, look at them or, like, put up a 5 and just say a couple words, like, loud enough for them to hear, such as, like, I'm waiting for you.
That seems to be common among the whole
right.
school. It seems to be very, that works really well
Yeah.
with the kids. So after enactment, you said that you wanted the students to know the knowledge of the game and be active in participation, like seeing that, and have comfort in the activity. So basically knowing what they need to do and feeling like they can do it
Right.
themselves. And that you would know this through like watching them participate, because it's a very active thing.
Yes.
Do you feel like they were able to walk away with that? Were you able to tell?
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that they did really well with, is when they were engaged, everyone was engaged, everyone was playing. A couple students got off like task, but that happens with every class, and it was quick, just re-instruct them to do something else, and they're right back in the game.
It's good to always plan for that.
Yes,
too.
right. And working with these kids now for like 2 or 3 weeks, I know which ones from each class. So like I come into the lesson knowing of 2 or 3 students that I will have to kind of like give them some space, but like they always come right back in, so it worked well.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the lesson went really
Yeah.
well and pretty much went to plan, and you already know kind of things you need to do for
Right,
next time.
yep.
So I think that's really what they want. They want to know that you're learning from yourself and that
Right.
you can adjust as you go.
Yep.
So sounds great.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.